Extra, extra, we're back with another entry. Today's topic is about a college letting go of one of its customs and traditions. This topic reminds me of a previous entry. I implore you to go check it out. My America is just fine. It's talking about how Trump doesn't want to change the installation of army bases named after Confederate soldiers. But today is something similar. On the same note, to elaborate, go check out this too, so you could be brought up to speed and see why white people are having a change of heart. The article reads as follows. University of Florida drops Gator bait cheer due to terms, quote, horrific, historic, racist imagery, end quote. The University of Florida's president announced Thursday that the school is discontinuing the use of its, quote, Gator bait, end quote, cheer and ban performance at sporting events. The school said the term is associated with a, quote, horrific, end quote, history of racist imagery. UF President Kent Fuchs said the change was just one of many the school is making to address racism on its campus amid ongoing protests following the death of George Floyd. Quote, while I know of no evidence of racism associated with our so-called Gator bait cheer at UF sporting events, there is horrific, historic racist imagery associated with the phrase, end quote, Fuchs said in a statement. Quote, accordingly, university athletics and the Gator bait ban will discontinue the use of the cheer, end quote. Traditionally, fans shout, quote, Gator bait, end quote, and use their arms to mimic an alligator's mouth chomping when the band plays the familiar tune. According to the Jim Crow Museum of Racist Memorabilia at Ferris State University, African American children were sometimes used to bait alligators in the late 1800s and early 1900s. Newspaper articles and postcards from the time period also highlight the practice. While some celebrated the change, others spoke out in opposition. Lawrence Wright, who is credited with popularizing the cheer after chanting, quote, if you ain't a Gator, you're Gator bait, baby, end quote, after a 1995 win, told the Gainesville Sun that he wants to speak with Fuchs about the decision. Wright planned to release merchandise with the phrase, according to the paper. Quote, I'm not going for it, end quote, said Wright, who was a member of Florida's first national title-winning football team. Quote, I created something for us. It's a college football thing. It's not a racist thing. It's about us, the Gator Nation, and I'm black, end quote. The removal of the cheer was just one of more than a dozen actions announced by Fuchs as part of a 3-point plan to address racism at the university. He also said that the university would be removing monuments and names celebrating the Confederacy and would cease relying on prison and jail inmates for farm labor. Quote, it is past time for UF to commit and engage in this challenging, uncomfortable, transformational work, end quote, Fuchs said. Quote, we know that we cannot undo lifetimes of injustice and racism, but we believe we can make progress in education, in advancing truth, reconciliation and justice, and in anti-racism, equality, and working to eradicate inequities, end quote. If the death of unarmed black men in America aren't really fake news, let's remember the names. Terrence Crutcher, Philando Castile, Tamir Rice, George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Sandra Bland. Keep these names going because they reform America. And Lawrence Wright, really quick, stop being a bonehead. If these white people want to let that offensive, horrific tragedy go that occurred in history, stop trying to hold on to it because it pertains to your sports and your so-called legacy of being a musclehead. It's offensive. Let it go, you idiot. Well, that's the end of the article, and this is the part of the entry where we part ways. But don't forget to leave me a comment because I value you guys' opinion. What do you make of all this? Are you glad that it's a silver lining in the death of unarmed black men and women in North America, that North America wants to consider its ways and separate from all these Confederate leaders and all of these historically racist events? Let me know. Talk to me. I talk back. If you like today's topic and like the way things are looking up in North America, hit the like button. If you want others to see how changes are going on around all of us, hit the share button. I don't mind. If you haven't already, subscribe. It's a call to action. Until next time, peace.